The most intense, thrilling, electrifying sport on the planet. Mixed martial arts. You've been looking for the definitive podcast to call your new home to hear everything about it. The search is over. This is the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. Bringing you the hottest MMA breakdowns straight from the heart of the octagon. This show is all about MMA breakdowns. For fans, by fans. We're talking UFC, MMA, and the occasional big boxing match. We'll bring our unique take on how these fights are going to play out and who we think are the best bets. Welcome to the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. And now your hosts, Olin, a.k.a. MMAnomaly, and Emiliano, a.k.a. Jive Turkey Nano.
What is up, fight fans? Welcome back to another episode of the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. You heard the man. I'm your host, Olin, a.k.a. MMAnomaly, and with me, as usual, is the co-host with the most, Nano, Jive Turkey himself. How we doing, live, Jive?
Let's go. We livin', we jiving. I'm doing great, brother. Thursday, aka Friday Junior. You know how we roll around here. And I missed you, man. It's been a productive week. It's been a lot of news, and I'm great to see your face, brother. It's ready to dive on in. Let's go.
I'm excited for it, man. I'm definitely excited for it. And yeah, I mean, let's
what's
dive
up?
right
And
into
what's
it.
up, chat? We got Average Avenues in here. What it do, baby?
Let's go,
Great to have
Average
you.
Avenues. How we doing, baby? Welcome to the chat. Glad to see you here. As Buffer says,
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live.
let's go,
Ooh.
baby. So we are going to jump right into things. In this episode, we are going to be breaking down a number of things. As usual, we are going to be going over last week's UFC card, as well as this upcoming weekend's UFC card. And of course, you know, the trickling in of the UFC news cycle and rumor mill, as it were. So as you know, we had 3 beautiful fights get announced. We got to break those down and kind of dive into that head first. But before we get into any of that, we have an elephant in the room to address. And I think that we should probably just go ahead and just jump right into the show with that one. Alexa Grasso versus Valentina Shevchenko, aka the great 10-8 incident of September 16th, 2023. It will go down in history as a very infamous moment for all the wrong reasons. Mike Bell himself, I mean, the guy should probably get fired. But I'll go ahead and let you jump right in, Nano. What did you think of that 10-8 round, and what did you think of the fight overall?
Oh, man, it was a great one. Yeah, I mean, UFC Noche did not disappoint. The Mexican people came out. The crowd was lively. It was an awesome time. And I will say, I mean, unfortunately, the card is now overlooked by the 10-8 blunder, brought to you by Mike Bell directly. You're going to be hearing that name a lot. Unfortunately, I'm sure he's getting through the ringer. Thank you, Average Avenue. You know the vibes. And hey, I mean, the reality is, aside from that, I mean, that was a bit wonky. We do have to admit. But at the end of the day, I think it still ended up being the right call in Alexa retaining her title. A split decision would have been fine with me. I mean, it was razor thin, ladies and gentlemen. Such a great fight. 25 minutes of just chef's kiss, beautiful violence. But you know, what's interesting. I knew something was up when Bruce Buffer came in and he whispered into Sean Shelby's ear. Did you catch that? And he's like, what's good? What? I knew. I'm like, oh no, there's something gonna happen. Either someone got robbed or, hey, the first draw, and we've seen it in a long time. But and honestly,
bad, dude. Drew was over that weekend, obviously, and sorry to jump in, but
please do.
Literally, Drew noticed it live. I noticed it on the obviously the replays that got posted on Twitter and stuff like that. But Drew noticed it on the fly. He noticed it live, and he's like, "Dude, did you see that?" He literally said, "What?" I mean, it was absolutely incredible, dude. Like, Sean Shelby did not know what to do, and you got to think that he heard, So Mike Bell gave somebody a 10-8 round, and I mean, if you say that about any part in that fight, like even an MMA casual is probably going to look at you and be like, "What the? Were you even watching the fight?" I mean, come on.
I love it. And maybe we could do it a little different. I mean, in terms of, because I feel like this fight almost warrants a little bit of like a round by round breakdown. Almost like we can kind of, I mean, for me, the big rounds, it seems like are in question are the round 4 and 5. I mean, some people have maybe 2 different ways. Honestly, I mean, round 2, in my opinion, could potentially have been a 10-8. I mean, I'm no Mike Bell, but I want to have a conversation a little bit around this 10-8 before we maybe break down the actual fight itself. Because if they are, I guess, a lot of ambiguity with the scoring. I mean, that's the elephant in the room as well, right? And this is kind of why we'll probably be hearing more ripples effect of this. But what are we doing here? Like, how is the actual scoring going to be determined? And I guess my question to you is a knockdown, and a knockdown that turned into a full-on flip up that Alexa scored on Valentina in round 2, should that not maybe be an automatic point deduction? Like, should that not make it a 10-8 regardless of how maybe the rest of the round goes? I mean, to me, that's an automatic in boxing, right? So I almost feel like if there is a knockdown, like from a legitimate punch, not a trip, different than a trip, but a knockdown followed up with like some Muay Thai clinch and knees and elbows. I mean, you tell me, I mean, does that warrant a 10-8? Because if that does not, then yeah, I mean, obviously round 5, I mean, even harder argument. But what are your thoughts around the 10-8 before we break down the fight itself?
Well, I mean, I've got to agree with everything you're saying there, Nano. Completely agree. Like, if there's a 10-8 round or an argument for a 10-8 round in that entire fight, it is round 2. And even that, I got to say, I don't think there was a 10-8 in there. Only because I think, I mean, again, you're talking about somebody getting knocked down. That's huge. On top of the knockdown, Alexa Grasso pretty much doubled up on the strikes that Valentina Shevchenko, her opponent, landed. It was 28-15 landed in round 2 specifically, with a 66% clip on significant strikes landed versus thrown from Alexa Grasso. So, I mean, she was landing at a higher clip. She was landing at a higher percentage of accuracy as far as that clip. And I mean, she made Valentina Shevchenko turn into a wrestler again, right? Valentina Shevchenko, she shot for a takedown. She actually ended up getting it 1-for-1 of takedowns in that round. And I mean, guys, she got 3 minutes of control, but what did you remember from the round? You remember the damage. You remember a girl literally just getting sent backwards, doing a full-on backflip, and just like getting launched on her ass. Like, it was wild.
That was crazy.
It was a beautiful sequence. And again, it was very Sean Strickland. I know you love it when I say this. It was a very meat and potatoes style of striking, guys. It was a basic 1-2 right down the pipe. And I mean, you see that coming, you freeze up. You don't see it coming, it's even worse for you, friend. Like, you're getting hurt. And Agreed. That was the situation with Valentina. I don't think she saw it coming. And as a result, she ate it and it sent her down. Good for her on recovery time. Good for her on her chin, her durability, and just her ability to have the wherewithal to jump right back up to her feet and get back into a defensive stance. But again,
and then scoring the takedown shortly after, which helped a lot. She did not do much with it, I will admit. And DC was mentioning it throughout the fight. She was not getting a lot of damage. Maybe that's more so Alexa scoring, in my opinion. Like, Valentina wasn't doing enough, but it was because Alexa was creating space. She was neutralizing the offense. She was controlling the wrist. She was getting her in a body triangle. She was doing the things you need to do she was doing all the right things. Exactly. And that's where I think, again, the takedown, the ground control, it may look lopsided, or you may just assume on surface that's scoring points, but it's what you do after it as well. And if you're not landing any strikes and she's able to get right back up pretty quickly, I mean, yeah, you got her down, but you might as well not have. And I would say the one thing, talking about meats and potatoes, I mean, the meat that Valentina was throwing, that jab, brother, was chef's kiss. I think that's really what made a lot of like true MMA fans, like one of my buddies that trains out here, Felipe, the boy, he was feeling that was the differentiator, that Valentina's jab, it was established early. She did look a little quicker. Alexa was wearing it. He felt like that was why Valentina was winning those early rounds, or maybe should have won the fight, which, hey, I good argument to make, 100%.
I got to be honest, no disrespect to your boy, but I firmly disagree. I thought Alexa did everything she needed to do to win that fight. And I thought that, I mean, completely honest, she won 3 out of 5 rounds. I scored round 1 for Valentina Shevchenko with relative ease. She had 1 minute and 20 seconds of control time. She went 1 for 2 on takedowns, and she landed 25 out of 51 attempted total strikes. Boom. Absolutely bum. In the next round, pretty clear win for Alexa Grasso. Significant strikes. Again, she doubled up, 28 compared to 15 from Shevchenko. And total strikes, 86 compared to 62 from Shevchenko. So again, she destroyed as far as the strikes thrown. The only argument you could make is that takedown did anything, but what is control without damage? We overall score these fights on damage, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to see someone, and again, who can explain this in a much more eloquent way than either myself or Jive Turkey can, no offense, Nano, but Sean Sheehan, I believe it's called the Severe Podcast, he does a great job. He's probably the most knowledgeable person, I don't know, in the world about the MMA unified rules and how judging should work. So, or is technically supposed to work on paper. So you go listen to him talk about it, and the way that he describes it, again, damage overall wins fights. And I thought Alexa Grasso was doing more damage across the fight. And you could tell with her strikes. Sure, some of those strikes that Valentina were landing, I will openly admit they were launching Alexa's head back, and visibly not a great look. But again, you have to score these fights on a 10-8 must, or a 10-9 must system, 10-point must system, as they say. So that being said, 10-9 round 1 for Valentina Shevchenko, 10-9 Alexa Grasso round 2. Round 3, I thought, was, again, a clear round for Valentina Shevchenko. There was not a lot of action in that round. Even though there was, 40, 50, 60, 75 strikes thrown between the two of these women, it didn't seem like a ton of action, right? Like there were a lot of pitter-patter shots from the top when Valentina was controlling her for 3 minutes and 16 seconds of that round. But other than that, like there wasn't a whole lot to judge. You had 9 significant strikes from Shevchenko and 4 from Grasso. Not a ton to go off of. But
no, she might have got cut that round, which might have looked optically made it look bad. And then I don't know if Valentina did score a takedown that round, and there's a little bit of control time, might have given her the edge.
She did, yeah. She scored that. And again, that's what I'm saying is like there wasn't a lot of fighting to judge, but there was point fighting to judge, right? Like she got a takedown. She got 3 minutes plus of control time across a 5-minute round. Pretty clear round for Valentina Shevchenko when there's not much else to judge. Jumping right into round 4, the control time was 58 seconds to 37 seconds, obviously in favor of Valentina Shevchenko. But what is 20 seconds? It's not a whole lot, especially if you're not doing a whole lot with it, and you landed less strikes. She landed 1 less significant strike, and she landed 7 less total strikes. And she also went 50% clip going for her takedowns. So again, I thought round 4 was a pretty clear round for Alexa Grasso. And if you watched the fight, and I don't care if you're a Valentina Shevchenko fan and for whatever reason you hate Mexico, but even if that's the case, if you're watching this and you're watching round 5, and again, like even if you hate Mexico, I don't understand how the hell you would judge that for anybody but Alexa Grasso. I thought that was a fucking clear round, not a 10-8, but it was a pretty damn clear 10-9.
I agree. And I think the narrative on that round 4, was really determined by those knees that Alexa was landing early on in the round. There was some questions. Valentina was arguing. You could try to make a case, but they ruled it legal, but when she got her in that headlock and started raining those knees, got her up against the fence, landed some clean Muay Thai knees, elbows inside, hooks. I mean, at one point there was, I guess like maybe 10 seconds, but that little exchange for me was the narrative that round, regardless of, the quick takedown after, like you said, but not a lot of control, not a lot of damage done by Valentina. And that's a lot of damage. I mean, taking those knees to the face, knees to the body, more knees to the face. I mean, come on. I don't care if you're Donald Trump and you want to build a wall, Mexico. You can't let us. We're going to break that wall down, baby. Come on. Can't keep us out. Quit playing with me.
With elbows. We're going to break it down with elbows. So Average Avenues, jumping into the chat here, guys. Average Avenues 11 said, Alexa got cut bad in round 4. That's why I had Val winning 1, 3, and 4. It's crazy how everyone is scoring it differently. I agree. And I think this shows that there's truly a problem with MMA scoring as a whole. I don't know if it's a Mike Bell problem so much as it's a judging problem, right? Like it's the judging criteria problem. We need a more clear system. I think possibly doing away with the 10-round must system or the 10-point must system. I think that might be step 1. Judge these fights on total damage done. And again, I would have had it in favor of Alexa Grasso, but I think the argument would at least be different and they'd be more fun. But I agree, Average Avenues. I think it's pretty wild how not only this fight, but I feel like at least every other week, like pretty much twice a month, just on average, right? Pun intended here, Average Avenues. I think there's always a debate on at least a fight from an event every 2 weeks. Like, oh man, robbery. Can't believe that happened.
I know it, man.
It's always crazy. It's like it's not even the same people on MMA Twitter or in media. It's different people every week, and they're like, "Oh man, robbery! Can't believe that happened."
I know it. Maybe it's like if you're gonna stick with the 10-point system, maybe you adopt half points or something, or maybe you find some sort of decimal usage for, like, whether it's like, hey, you get a point or two for like ground or like the takedown and damage on top. But the other person could get a point or two for, and your decimal point or two for, hey, you're on bottom. Yeah, you're getting rained on, but you throw up an armbar and it's super close. That should be a point or two or something like that, right? I don't know if that is making sense, but
no, yeah.
So now it's like, hey, a 9.25 or a 9.5 versus a 10 can kind of
like
level out.
Gymnastics score system instead of a 10-point flat.
Yep. 9.9, 8.8. I'm not
mad at that. I'm not mad at that at all. I don't think that's a bad idea.
Potentially.
I think that could be a fun idea. Again, I mean, I could spend all day talking about this controversial decision shit, but I digress. We move on. We do have to talk about another one that, in my opinion, is kind of an elephant in the room. As a Jackie 3 Names fan, love Jack Della Maddalena. I mean, this one hurt. I'm going to change the music here. I feel like it was a sad night for all of us Kevin Holland fans. Kevin Holland, he did really well. He landed, he actually outlanded Jackie 3 Names. He landed 127 strikes to 105. Now, the crazy thing about this fight, folks, is Kevin Holland landed 127 total strikes. 127 total strikes. And Kevin Holland also just happened to land 127 significant strikes in that fight. Pretty wild. Another notable little note here. Jackie 3 Names. He landed 105 total strikes. And also happened to land 105 total significant strikes. So every single strike landed in this entire fight.
How
across
does that?
The fucking distance. Yep. The math. I don't know if it's mathing, but
that's hilarious. That's
every single strike that was landed was significant. So these guys they weren't friends. Maybe they bought a beer for each other afterwards, but tough night at the office for Big Mouth.
That is hilarious. I'm like mind blown by that. They felt every single strike was significant. I mean, significant in the sense that like everything he threw was like purposeful. Like it was like, it like was perfect boxing, like 101, you chuck when you jive. Brother.
The strikes.
The venomous. I mean, he was throwing leather the entire time. I mean, that's hilarious to me. In all actuality, I mean, yeah, the numbers are so wonky. I mean, it just felt like a weird fight, a little underwhelming, to be honest. But we did see some great boxing in there. I mean,
facts.
Unfortunately, Big Mouth. And I think I heard something. I don't know what I was listening to today. Someone on our YouTube, MMA verse. But they were talking about, I guess Holland mentioned like he's not even getting coached anymore. Like he was like, I'm just doing my own thing, or I'm not listening to anybody, like listen to anyone.
He's too busy stopping crimes.
I guess so, man. Just living real life. But the reality is he's a great fighter, but man, he's like the perfect example of like the most talented kid on the team, but just can't ever make grades, and he's never actually eligible to play.
He's the guy that never shows up to class, but scores a perfect score on the midterms. Every single time.
Yeah.
I had a friend like that back in Bossier City, Louisiana. Shout out, Brian. Hope you're doing great.
Shout out. Shout out. B Money. Yeah, I mean, it's like, dude, so much talent, man. He's kind of pissing it away a little bit. Like, trying to strike with Wonder Boy, trying to outbox JDM. I mean, come on, what are we doing here, buddy? I love you. I'll always be a fan, but I think the reality is we got to give our boy JDM some flowers here, brother. I mean, he's cooking, man. He looked sharp. I think that is interesting that every strike was significant, quote unquote. I think just because it would just look so good. I mean, everything he was doing was purposeful.
What is the curse of Michael Chiesa? Oh, wait, dude, everybody that beats Michael Chiesa loses their next fight, right? Is that what it is?
Let's see. Well, he lost 3 in a row. Sean Brady, yes. Vicente Luque, probably. Wow, this average, man. That's not an average response there. That's above average.
Chiesa,
That's an above average analysis.
And
two of them were to Bilal.
Folks. You heard
that
it
could
here.
also be the Bilal
MC
curse.
It's up there. It's up there with the EA curse.
Ooh, the Madden cover curse. That's definitely.
It's not even the Madden cover. It's EA Sports, bro. Haven't you been? Have you followed UFC
too? Yeah, UFC as well. Yeah,
bro. I mean, if Volk loses the fucking Trinity, come on, it's bad.
I know. Jeez.
Like Jorge Masvidal, we saw what happened then. And then Israel Adesanya. I mean, he went up in weight class after that game came out. Boom, done.
And lost to
and
Alex.
Then this game came out, and then he lost to Sean. Beating potatoes.
Was it Valentina on there as well with Volk? And she
Valentina was on there as well. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if somebody, like, if I was a UFC fighter and they're like, "We want you to be on the cover," I'd be like, "I want you to go fuck yourself."
I want you to pay me? Nah, definitely not.
There's just no chance.
Are you putting me out to pasture right now? Is this what's happening?
Like, whose side are you on here, Sean? I don't imagine a Sean Shelby that comes up with those decisions. But so yeah, again, sad night at the office for Kevin Holland. Big night for Jack Della Maddalena. You gotta think. You gotta think, folks. Huge. That this means I'm gonna change the music. This is too sad. That you gotta think that this means that, you know, there's great things on the horizon for Jackie Three Names, folks. In the UFC welterweight division is I mean, it should really be called the welterweight division because everybody's waiting. Nobody wants to fucking fight. You know what I'm saying?
The welterweight.
Wait a second division.
Wait a minute.
So, I mean, it's a very stagnant division. You got Jackie Three Names going up 2 slots, sitting at number 12 now in the rankings in the UFC website. I wouldn't be mad at seeing Jackie Three Names fight an Ian Machado Gary. I also wouldn't be mad at seeing him fight I don't know, maybe a Jeff Neal. A boxer's delight. Two really crispy boxers. You know, everybody wins, especially the fans.
Ooh, boxer's delight. Yeah, brother. Honestly, you're bouncing around the name I was looking at here because I have one name and one name only, and it is a boxing guy from Philly, I think, or has that Philly shell. But I'm talking about a Sean Brady, baby. I'm talking about Sean Brady versus JDM. Ooh-wee.
I'm not mad at it.
That'd be a fun one. And I love that you said the word stagnant. We are like in sync. That was literally the word I put. This is a stagnant division, and there's nobody more stagnant right now, in my opinion, than a Sean Brady. Throw him in there. He's been hurt, but man, I think stylistically, you know what they say, brother. Styles make fights, and this will be a boxer's delight. Ooh, boxing delight.
Ooh, boxing delight. Love to hear it, man. Honestly, I'm all about it. I think that's a fantastic choice. I love that we have a hive mind going right now. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, fight fans of all shapes, sizes, and ages. Just for the record, I separated our like talk track document so that way we won't end up reading each other's notes anymore. And I did this some time ago. And more often than not, we're still like typing up the same shit as each other. So, I mean, you love to see it.
You know the vibes.
I feel like, you know, there's a reason we're you know, the co-hosts to one another, so it's fantastic. You love to see it, man.
Hey, man, we've been doing this for a while now. I mean, we're coming up on a year, I'm pretty sure. So, and I mean, we've had our first pod years ago. You know, just a little maturation, baby. Just a little maturation.
You love to see it, baby. You love to see that maturation. Speaking of maturation, we got a guy that just barely turned 18 years of age. Raul Rosas Jr. That man, I mean, that was fantastic. Oh my God. That was great.
That was my Raul Rojas impression there. When you grabbed the mic, that was fantastic. Thanks, man.
I'm not even gonna try it. You did so good. There's no reason. And I mean, speaking of, you know, not even gonna try it and doing something so good, I mean, we don't even really need to talk a ton about this. It was 54 seconds long. So how long do we need to talk about it, right?
That's about it.
What were your thoughts on that performance?
It was huge. I mean, he didn't need much time, like you mentioned. I don't need much more time. I mean, honestly, I'm really not surprised by the KO. It just felt like he needed something like that. And I think he knew that as well. Got right down the business. That looping, eyes closed, Hail Mary hook that he landed, man, just right on the money. I don't know if he truly knew, like, in terms of where he was positioned. Like, I mean, that was either just great, like telegraphing on Raul, or I think that was just like the prettiest, like no-eyed home run hit. But other than that, man, that was a statement he needed. Again, the kid's only 18 years young. He's super charismatic. He's fun to watch. I do hope the UFC takes their time with him, though. I don't want to see him get thrown to the wolves just yet. Find another young guy. Maybe there's a Contender Series or an Ultimate Fighter Series guy coming down the pike that we can match him up with. But take your time, do it right. Again, he's 18, man. Let the guy get a little maturation under his belt. And I mean, I'd love to see him back in there soon. I mean, why not? Keep him busy. But nobody directly that I'm thinking of. I don't know if you have any names, or what are your thoughts, brother?
So, I mean, there's not a ton of names on the tip of my tongue, if I'm being honest. And what we call that shot that he threw, the eyes closed, just crazy haymaker, we call that a 4. It's a 4 from a guy that's fighting in southpaw, obviously. But typically, instead of just throwing the opposite side hook, you come around. And as our coach very eloquently describes it, actually, is if you have someone that's doing a classic guard, right? So their hands are up here. If I'm wearing boxing gloves, it looks like this, right? So I'm blocking the sides of my head for the most part. But again, as my Muay Thai coach so eloquently put it in class, where your mission is whenever you're throwing this weird looping overhand that goes on the outside is the triangle.
Peekaboo.
So peekaboo. So you're going through that triangle and you're coming right around the back end. And that's exactly what he did. If there was a guard, I don't remember if he actually even had his hands up, but it melted it. And,
well, it definitely makes sense because it felt like he kind of stepped off. I mean, they weren't, I guess, like head to head, right?
Facing head to head. He cut an angle.
He cut the angle, and that's why it landed right on the chin. Where if he was, I guess, centered up, that would have been right through the peekaboo cheekbone there. But yeah, good call out, and that does make more sense. So let me take a step back here. Let me eat a little humble pie that I just got served up for my Muay Thai brethren over here. Calculated for with an exclamation point. Chef's kiss, baby.
It was actually beautiful. It landed in the perfect placement. And I literally joked last week and was like, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Raul Rosas got it done by like TKO or KO. And my God, he got it done by KO or TKO. So let's go, dude. You love to see it. The kid got it done. We actually have a new person here in the chat here. GZDR Forever. Now that UFC and WWE have officially merged, do you see someone like Ronda Rousey and Brock Lesnar being a bridge between the two audiences? Ooh. This is a fantastic question. I personally do. I think that would be a fantastic thing. I don't know if Brock Lesnar will be the guy, but I do think that they will have some WWE people. How can I just say this? How funny would it be? Plot twist. A little bit of a plot twist here, guys. How funny would it be if it was Matt Riddle, guy who was fired from the UFC for smoking pot, who is now a WWE character whose whole gimmick is smoking pot? I feel like that guy should be the bridge.
Interesting. Yeah.
Fun fact: he beat John Jones in a college wrestling match.
What?
Yeah, Matt Riddle's a fucking beast, dude.
Holy hell! I mean, this guy looks like, oh my God, he's pretty hunky. But
right, you are.
Sheesh.
Right, you are.
37 years old. I mean, he's really not like. I mean, that's not that old. I guess I'm at a loss of words here. He's got me speechless.
And like,
no, but
make no mind. Like, I don't think he's saying like, do you think that they will bridge the gap and fight in the UFC? But I think that they could be a bridge between the audiences, right? Like,
there we go. Yeah,
like, they can get people that are watching WWE to then watch UFC. Like, I could see Matt Riddle showing up super high backstage and being like, "Oh yeah, bro. Sorry, I was just watching some old UFC fights. Are you watching the fights this Saturday?" And then vice versa. Like, they could cut a promo for WWE very easily with John Anik.
I like that. Yeah. Oh, Anik's a boy. He's versatile. Yeah. If I would say that a bridge can be built, but not maybe for the fighting avenue. But I do think I'd love to see a little bit of trickle over. It's interesting. Dana White was asked this question and he blatantly said like no, like a firm, hard no. But I think where the avenues can come in, like a great example is an Israel Adesanya when he did the Undertaker walkout. I think if we can incorporate something like that, I even saw something recently where there was an idea of maybe the champs walk out with their belt. I mean, if you're going to build a bridge, I think it's going to start with entertainment value. And that's where the WWE or Vince McMahon or that crew, the production crew, can come into the UFC and be like, well, I know y'all do it this way, but I could kind of make it like way better, like right now with just a quick little touch. Not even too much. Don't need to go too crazy into the full on, mile long walkout stage like you see in the SmackDown, but a little something, a little pizzazz, a little sprinkle might be nice, man.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. Mary, she's a very good sport. She watches the UFC fights with me, and God bless her soul. I appreciate it so much. There have been numerous times where the one fights will be on, and we'll check them out. Shout out Ki, works for One Championship.
The boy.
And we'll check them out. And every time we've watched them, there's always a point in time where Mary's like, I think I actually like this to some extent better than UFC. And I'll ask her why, and she's like, well, the sponsors on the shorts, like them having different designs on their shorts, the way that they come out is very like showmany and like different. It's not just the same. It's not just a different song and stuff. Like it does feel very WWE over at One Championship when they walk out. And I love that. And so does Mare. I feel like most people that I've spoken to about the topic, they like it. It's a positive selling point, not a negative selling point by any means, way, shape, or form. So
absolutely.
I think it'd be a great thing. We actually got another one in the chat here from our newcomer. People were skeptical about Logan and Jake Paul and what they could do for boxing, and I think it's working. They're bringing in the TikTokers and social media influencers. I completely agree with you. I completely agree with you. I think I was skeptical about Jake and Logan Paul, but I can honestly tell you that I've been paying attention to boxing a lot more now than I was before. Yeah. I know the names of far more current champions now than I did before. And that's a testament to Jake and Logan Paul. Granted, I would always watch the big fights like your Tyson Furies and, Deontay Wilders, things like that. And back in the day, I would definitely watch some Prince Nassim fuck people up.
Let's go.
And, Mike Tyson, Roy Jones Jr., I got down with that.
Oh, yeah. But, Mayweather, De La Hoya. All those boys, Canelo. Come on.
So, you know what I'm saying? Like, we like boxing here. Mm-hmm. But it's definitely more entertaining with the Pauls being part of it. Whether you love them or hate them, they definitely bring a certain level and layer of entertainment. We got Miss Mary in the chat here. I agree with GZDR forever. Brings more eyes to the sport. I don't want it to only be influencers, but boxing needed something to give it new life. I completely agree with Mary here. The Paul brothers have breathed lifeblood into boxing.
Yeah.
I think of all the things to come from this influencer boxing. I don't know if you guys have heard of him or not, but Salt Poppy.
Oh yeah. That's the boy. Great videos. And the boy's got a mean left hook.
A mean left hook. And I don't know if you've seen him lately, but dude doesn't even look like Salt Poppy anymore. He looks like low sodium Poppy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's like Salt Daddy right now.
I've been commenting that on like all of his posts lately. Every time he posts, he's got like a 6-pack. I'm like, damn, low sodium Poppy.
Low sode, brother. He is. He's getting shredded out right now, bro. I think he's really trying to transition, man. Love to see it. He looks phenomenal.
Yeah, he went from Fat Boo from Dragon Ball Z to Majin Buu.
Facts.
Or Super Boo. Like seriously, he posted it himself.
He's talented,
it's not an
man.
insult.
Yeah, no, he's talented as all hell. Yeah, that's a great new space that's opening up again for boxing, for martial artists, for anything violent related. I'm all for it. But yeah, I do think Logan and Jake, because the reality is I think a lot of the WWE guys will not pass the USADA test to save their life. Probably not ever. But a Jake Paul and Logan, they are still within range where they're just kind of freaks of nature. I don't know if Logan's completely healthy or not, but I think Jake legit will try to get into MMA, man. And I can't wait for it. It's going to be huge. But again, the bridges are being built here. There's a lot of synchronicity. I don't know what I'm saying.
there's definitely synchronicity. You know what I'm saying? There's definitely a lot of bridges being built. And you know what they say. Everything else is water under the bridge, right? As long as you can build the bridge, you can get over the rest of it, right?
Nice.
Yeah.
Tough crowd.
No, I have to make bad jokes. It's my birthday.
It's what we do.
So it's what we do here. So jumping into the next topic here, we're gonna go through not the whole card for this weekend because there's definitely some preliminary fights that possibly aren't like the best fights in the whole wide world. They're definitely fun fights. I was surprised. I'm actually gonna go through some of these prelims that I know we didn't talk about. So sorry to catch you off guard here, Jive Turkey.
Let's go, baby.
We got to keep them live, Jive, for a reason.
You know
right?
the vibes.
So, Hannah Goldie, I thought she got cut. Did they just like give her a one fight contract here because they added her to the card? She's coming in against Mizuki Inoue. So that should be a fun one. I've always liked Hannah Goldie. I root for her. I saw her on the Contender Series a while back. She has a lot of heart, she doesn't win every fight, but man, she goes out there and she gives it all. And I'm excited to see Mizuki go out there and do her thing. She's an absolute freaking beast. 14-6. She's got 9 submissions, 5 decisions. Not much of a knockout artist, but man, if you let her take your back or your arm, she's probably going to end up armbarring you or, end up getting a rear naked choke, probably. I think like 90% of her submission wins, if not more, are from arm bars. So she'll probably have the nickname the Arm Collector. And, if I'm Hannah Goldie, I'm probably like this the whole fight.
Oh, yeah. You don't want to mix it up. Oh, yeah. That's definitely your best bet. I mean, Hannah Goldie, like you mentioned, I really have not seen her in a while. Her last fight was July 2022, and that was a loss to Molly Meatball McCann. Spinning elbow punch really was the footnote to Molly and Patty the Batty that night, unfortunately. Hannah looks crazy athletic. I mean, she's built like an ox. I mean, if looks were one thing, you would want to bet on her, but the reality is someone like Mizuki, not a household name. She's 29 years old. Coming off a tough loss, but took an Amanda Lemos, who just fought for the title, took her to a decision. That says a lot to me. I mean, that's, in my opinion, enough for me to give her the nod here. Again, like you mentioned, not knowing necessarily too much about these ladies, but Mizuki, if she could hang around with Amanda Lemos, I mean, sign me up for Mizuki.
I mean, I definitely think Mizuki wins this fight. Again, I just, I like Hannah Goldie. I think she, like you said, she definitely looks more athletic than most people in the world. But man, I'm probably betting on Mizuki this weekend. Moving forward through the prelims, we're going to skip ahead a couple here. Tim, the Dirty Bird Means, coming in against Andre Fialho. I like this fight a lot. This is this is going to be a striker's delight, in my opinion. Tim Means definitely has some BJJ that he could bust out of the back pocket at all times, but he also is not one that shies away from a standing striking match. Man's got 19 knockouts in his MMA career. Pretty studly stat there, in my opinion, out of his 32 wins. That's right, 32 wins. He's got 19 knockouts, 5 submissions, 8 decisions, 1 draw, 1 no contest, 15 losses. The man is an absolute fucking veteran.
Good God.
I mean, one might even call him a dirty bird.
That's dirty. He is one dirty bird, boy. He's in there mixing it up. Oh my gosh. Was it 47 fights, 50 fights damn near? Brother. Yeah. And at 39 years old, I mean, I give you props, man. Tim Means, I mean, he means business if he's going to keep coming back here. But let's be honest. I mean, brother, he's on the other end of Father Time here. And he's coming off 3 losses. I mean, one to Kevin Holland, Max Griffin, Alex Morono. Very notable guys. We don't want to discredit Tim Means for that. But the reality is, it's like, oof, it'd be tough to bet on him. I'm just saying, man. It's tough for me, looking at Andre Fialho, 29 years old, another guy coming off 3 losses, but it's to a Jake Matthews, a Joaquin Buckley. Okay, these things happen. Makes sense. You can take some bumps in the road. Maybe you're not fighting for a title, but I'm just taking the youth here, I think. Less tread on the tires. This dude, Andre, with his 16 victories, has 13 knockouts. I mean, this guy's headhunting, and I think Tim might just be on a stake here, buddy. I'm going Andre. What do you think?
Man,
Are you Means business? Are you going to go Dirty Bird?
I mean, God, it's hard to bet against Dirty Bird. Oh. It really is. I mean, his only losses, like you said, like Kevin Holland, Alex Morono, Max Griffin. Those are not bad names to lose to.
Those are dogs.
On the other side, Jake Matthews, Muslim Salikov, and Joaquin Buckley. Pretty solid names to lose to. Now, I think what you have to look at here is how these people lost to their last 3 losses, correct? So you got 2 submission losses, 1 Bravo choke, 1 guillotine choke, and 1 decision loss for Mr. Tim Means. Opposite him, you have 3 KO/TKO losses in a row. I'm leaning Tim Means by finish here. I think he gets it done by TKO. I think Andre Fialho is a suspect chin, and he leaves himself out there in the open to absorb strikes. He likes to bet on himself, which not mad at. I like to bet on myself too, but I think he bets on himself in the wrong situations, and he goes out and has I really was trying to think of a more eloquent way to put this, just a better way to put this, less vulgar way to put this. But I mean, I'm just going to throw it right out there, guys. Andre Fialho, as much as I love him and he's very entertaining as a fighter, he goes out there and he has unnecessary dick measuring contests. He just does it to do it. Like, he doesn't need to, but he's like, check this out, motherfucker. And it's cool. Like, everyone's all, but at the same time, like, come on, fight calculated. You have a strong striking pedigree, and you have some solid wrestling to fall back on too. I mean, you don't have a ton of submissions. You got 1 submission. You've never been submitted, and you've taken it to the decision twice and gotten the win. I mean, but we all know what he's here for, right? Like, in the UFC, his last 5 fights have all ended by knockout, whether it's win or lose. So I think if you don't feel confident betting on Tim Means, you bet on the under here, folks.
I like that,
because the realistic thing here is the last time Andre Fialho saw 2 minutes and 31 seconds into a round 3 was a very long time ago. It was back when he fought Michel Pereira, and that was back in January of 2022. That was 6 fights ago in the UFC for him. So that's a long time in fight time. He's been very active, and I don't think that's the best thing for him. He just got knocked out in May. I think he might get knocked out again in September, folks.
Ooh-wee. I like it. I mean, I agree in the under take. I think we're going to have to be doing a shot here come Saturday. I love it. And yeah, man, I mean, it's going to be a fun one. My last little note here on Andre is that he does train out at Killcliff FC. Ton of fighters come out of that camp. I don't know if that's why he's getting dropped, if he's in there sparring with the likes of a Chandler, Gilbert Burns, Vicente Luque, all these studs out of that camp. Might be paying dividends, honestly, but hey.
I mean, we know how I feel about Killcliff. I'm not a big fan. But
that just, you're like, that even further confirms my point. Fair enough. Well, let's see what happens, bro. That'll be a fun one.
Those who know me know that I call Henry Hooft a fighter killer or a talent killer.
Ooh.
But it's what he does. Like, he finds really, really talented fighters. He brings them into his staple. Those fighters make each other better, but he doesn't do anything for them. I mean, we're talking about the same guy that walked out on Anthony Johnson during the rematch with Daniel Cormier.
That's crazy.
No respect. I will never respect that coach ever. I can't do it.
I feel that.
Like, you walk out on your fighter, like, come on. That's the worst form of low.
Yeah,
mid fight, you walked out on your fighter, bro. Come on.
And Anthony Johnson was like the best too. That's crazy. I didn't know that.
He's a good dude, bro. He was a good dude. They literally walked out on him when he tried to shoot for a takedown on DC. They were like, all right, I'm done. Like, bro, stick with your fighter. Fighters make mistakes, bro. People make mistakes. And after that, I really started examining him even more. I was already watching him closely because that was Rashad Evans' coach, and huge Rashad Evans fan. For those of you that don't know, check this out. My homie Drew showed up this past weekend, and he brought me, I already had the bottom 3, but he brought me these top 3 cards.
Let's go.
Autographs. We got a Matt Danger Snell, a Rashad Evans, and then we have a Dustin Poirier.
What a lineup. What a lineup.
You'd love to see it, baby. But had to pull that out because Rashad Evans was my first favorite fighter ever, and then Dustin Poirier is definitely my favorite fighter of all time. And, Matt Danger Snell, been watching that guy since the MTV Caged days.
Jeez.
Shout out Bossier City, Louisiana.
Let's go. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I feel like
Not to digress too much, but that's a fair point.
Yeah, he was training Rashad Evans, and so I've watched his career closely. And the second he started training Rashad Evans just went downhill. Rashad Evans had 3 losses to his name when he started training with one fucking Henry Hooft. And what did he retire with? What was his
I was gonna say, and that's not even probably Sugar's. And half that's not Sugar's fault because they ended up choosing John Jones over him. He kind of had to walk. His hand was forced, unfortunately.
Yeah, they definitely chose John Jones over him, so he had to leave the gym.
Yeah.
He got screwed. That's why that's my original hatred for John Jones started.
It's understandable, man. It's understandable. And
he doesn't
do any favors.
I remember watching all those freaking Rashad Evans fights live. And yeah, he definitely doesn't do himself any favors.
No. Oh, dude, he was on the best, man. Rashad in his prime. Oh my gosh. He was one of my favorite fighters to fight with as well in the UFC. The early, maybe UFC 1 or 2. Oh, he was a stud.
Double jab cross.
Oh, dude.
You can do it from either side. It was so crispy.
All day. His freaking boxing and then that leg kick to the face, roundhouse. Oh, money. He was a beast.
All day, baby.
All day.
So moving up the prelims.
Now we're back on track.
Back on track, guys. Back on tracks. Let's see. Do we want to go over this?
Are we kicking off?
We'll jump right into the main card. Here. We got Ricardo Ramos coming in against Charles Air Jourdain. Guys, this has got banger alert just written all over it, guys. Sound the alarm. This one definitely has banger alert written all over it. Charles Jourdain, I don't know if you remember him, but he's the guy that threw like a Spartan kick while yelling "Come on" at his opponent.
He's the Gracie Killer. I'm familiar with this guy. Oh yeah, I know.
Oh yeah, the Gracie Killer. Love to hear that. I'll let you take the lead on this one. How do you see this one going, and who do you favor?
This is a fun one, brother. This is honestly, the more I looked into it, the more I realized, man, this is going to be, I think, a striker's galore. I think we're going to have some really creative strikes. We're going to see some funky, unorthodox styles here clash. Starting with Ricardo Ramos, looked very solid. I mean, 28 years old, 16-4, 7 subs with a few KOs as well. But he's known as this creative striker. I mean, his spinning back fist KO over Danny Chavez was a great staple there back in June of 2022. Has not fought since, which kind of worries me a little bit. But again, when you turn on the tape, man, I mean, this guy does a great job of utilizing his leg kicks, finding his range, and again, really funky, really unorthodox style. He's got that Brazilian. I mean, I say this only because it's top of mind, but like an Anderson Silva. I mean, not that he's in that class. I don't want to like be putting too much pressure on Ricardo, but it's the creativeness, it's the fun, the playfulness that he fights with. Really, really fun style. And then you got the boy Charles, aka the Gracie Killer, like I mentioned, back in the octagon. Another fun, creative striker. He's looking to take your head off. I mean, he's 27 years old, 14-6, 8 KOs. I'm anticipating a variety of leg kicks, flying knees, and basically anything our anime brains can think of here for this 15-minute fight. I'm excited, brother. I think it's going to be some fireworks, like you said. But what are your thoughts on it? I guess, and to answer your question, I'm probably leaning Charles. I've seen enough Jourdain. I know he's got the submission background as well if it goes there. And I think if it stays standing, I think Ricardo might make a mistake, and I think Charles will find the chin, land the mark. But I'm going Charles Jourdain. Probably by decision, though. I think it'll be a fun fight.
Decision, he says. I'm not mad at it,
It's going to be fun,
guys.
man. It's going to be fun.
I'm not mad at it. Yeah. You know, Charles Jourdain came out there and he absolutely just demolished Crone Gracie. He made him look like a melted ice cream cone for sure, guys. You can expect those kinds of jokes all night.
Nice.
Again, he melted the ice cream cone out there. He made it look like a warm, sunny day, and just, you know, ice cream cone couldn't withhold.
It gets
but
me every
before
time.
that, he fought Nathaniel Wood, who, and again, every time I mention the name Nathaniel Wood, I will always say missed opportunity. His nickname should be Carved of Nathaniel Carved of Wood. I just think that'd be great. I think it'd be fantastic.
And he's chiseled.
Yeah, he's chiseled as hell. So Nathaniel Wood beat him by unanimous decision. Before that, he lost a majority decision to Shane Burgos. Shout out Hurricane Shane. And then his 2 fights prior to that, he had a win via guillotine choke over Groovy Lando Fanata, and decision win unanimous over Andre Ewell. Now across from him, you got a very game Ricardo Carcachinha. And I mean, come on. Ricardo Ramos is a beast. His last fight against Danny Chavez, if you didn't see it, you should definitely go back and check it out. He got a nice little spinning back elbow. Clean chef's kiss knockout over Danny Chavez. Before that, he lost a unanimous decision to Zubaira Tukhugov, fighting out of AKA. Shout out my old gym. Let's go. And then before then, again, he's very wishy-washy, up and down, win-loss, win-loss, win-win-loss. Never really gets more than 2 to 3 wins in the UFC without bouncing into a loss, it seems. But those 3 losses he's seen were by way of Zubaira Tukhugov, Lerone Murphy, who's got just fucking hands of steel, which is why he got knocked out in the first round, and Said Nurmagomedov, who he's a kickboxing Dagestani, guys. Like, come on, what else do you want? So, of course, he got spinning back kicked and punched into oblivion from Said. But his wins, guys, he's got a win over Billy Algeo. He's got a win over Luis Eduardo Galjori. The bigger wins are, Journey Noose and Danny Chavez, Hyung Ho Kang. Those are pretty damn solid names, in my opinion, guys. So the guy's an absolute beast. I think he's getting overlooked because of the last few fights, or the last fight rather, that we saw with his opponent, Charles Air Jourdain. I like Charles Jourdain a lot. I think he's a really, really savage fighter. But I think Ricardo Ramos is getting overlooked in this one, and that's why I've got him winning this fight.
Nice, brother. Damn, we're going to disagree again, but I'll be honest, I like that pick a lot. Like, Ricardo's a really fun fighter to watch. I did quickly look up his name, Carcaquina, and that's basically like little skeleton. That's a Portuguese translation, because he's probably skinny, like a skeleton.
Yeah,
but
he's a beast, dude.
No, he's a beast. He's fun to watch, man. He has this move. There's a really cool video on YouTube, on the YouTubes, but he does that kind of like a Olay kick where you're standing and he goes behind, what like Anderson used to do, kind of like a calf
I know
kick.
exactly
like
what you're talking about.
I'll stand up, but you could.
I always think of like the old Irish boxers, like Duke. Yeah, there you go. Nano, there you go. Nano with the click, the quickness.
My calves are so sore. Did calves yesterday. They're like stiff as a board. I'm all every time I did that, I was like
Love it. Worth it though. Definitely worth it. So
man.
yeah, he definitely does those kicks. I mean, what I really like that he does, I'm gonna be completely honest, is the spinning back elbows. I mean,
dude,
the guy has how many spinning back elbow knockouts? Like, he's
got a couple, dude. He does a lot of the spinning kicks as well. He's a spinner. I like it.
Here's the thing, like, and when he throws it, it's unprovoked, it's untelegraphed, and it's unpredictable. And those are the ones that knock you out, man. The ones you don't see coming. So I've got him winning this fight. Unpopular opinion, unpopular decision, but there it is. Moving into this next one, guys. I thought I was going to be like, I'll let him take the lead here, but I'm not. I'm going to take the lead here. Brian Pooh Bear Battle coming in against AJ Fletcher. I think he's going to turn him into AJ Flincher with that 10-inch reach advantage. Are you kidding me? A 10-inch reach advantage?
Oh my gosh.
Bro, and I am not making that up. That's real. That's a real fucking stat. It's insane,
I'm looking at it.
But it's a real stat.
Gosh.
10-inch reach advantage, folks. Now I know
only
AJ
a
Fletcher,
2-inch height difference. Just to real quickly say, whoa.
Jeez. So again, like, folks, I know AJ Fletcher's game plan is going to be to come in here and wrestle with this guy. But I also know, fun fact, people like to say things like, "Oh, did you know that 85% of all fights end up on the ground?" Yeah, did you know that 100% of all fights start on the fucking feet? So, if I have a 10-inch reach advantage and I know how to fight, it's gonna be really hard to take me to the ground because you still have to penetrate my guard, and it's much easier for me to sprawl if you are, I don't know, a little under a fucking foot out of range of me. So I'm big brothering you, and I'm just, why can't you reach me? Why can't you hit me? I think Brian Battle wins this fight. I think it's his fight to lose after that nice little knockout win that he had. And after, to be completely honest, I think that loss that he had to Fakhretdinov probably did even more for him as far as growth and teaching him. And with that loss to Fakhretdinov, I really think his opponent's going to have a hell of a time even trying to take him down in this fight on Saturday night.
That's a good call out, man. And I do agree with everything you're mentioning. Pooh Bear is really strung together. Some good wins here. Coming from the Ultimate Fighter, definitely has some great momentum. Like you said, these knockouts of most recent are just powerful. He's looking like he's angry fighting out there. So you'd love to see that. He's making the right progressions. I feel like 29 years old, really entering his prime. Again, just feel like he's really well-rounded. And again, that 10-inch reach is insane to think about. For someone like an AJ Fletcher, I mean, he looks a little bit more compact, built like a freaking brick house, to be honest. I thought he was shorter than what he is, but he's coming from the Contender Series. So, and honestly, my one note is that he's really quick. So I'm curious to see with that size and speed, if he's going to be able to get inside a Bryan Battle. Can he try to take him down? Can he make it a muddy and grind it out kind of fight? That's probably his best path to victory. You know, AJ Fletcher here, only 26 years young, 10-2, 5 subs. I think we know what he's going to try to do here. He's going to try to grab a leg and try to get him down. He's not going to want to sit there and strike with someone that has 10 inches on him and that has power in both hands. I mean, Bryan is going to come to battle. I'm leaning Bryan as well here. I'm just curious to see, you know, I don't know too much about this AJ Fletcher. I haven't seen him in the octagon, at least in the UFC. So who's going to show up? Is he going to be able to deal with that big problem in front of him? That's a Bryan battle. I'm leaning Bryan here as well. It's going to be a good one, though.
Absolutely. I think it'll definitely be a really fun fight, but man, 10 inches is just no joke. In other news, guys, we have a crazy fight on this fight card that I feel like is not getting nearly enough hype. Marina Rodriguez coming in against Michelle Waterson Gomez, the karate mommy hottie herself.
Yes.
Guys, if you don't know, now you know. These two women are fighting each other on this card in a strawweight belt. Happy to see Michelle Waterson Gomez coming back down to strawweight where she belongs. I think that's where she is strongest. I think that is her natural weight class. I don't think she had any business going up in weight class and fighting against Amanda Lemos. But here we are. So this fight is actually a bit of a rematch, guys. This fight actually already happened in 2021.
Running it back.
They're running it back. Nano, I feel like you've got some notes on this, and I'll let you take the lead.
I got a quick 2 cents, man. I mean, you already set it up pretty well. We got Michelle, hottie, karate mommy here, Waterson Gomez now, got married. The tough thing with her, and she's, I mean, just a fan favorite personally, like loved her career. She's now 37 years old, obviously closer to the sun setting here, unfortunately, but her dance partner's right in the same neck of the woods. I mean, Marina Rodriguez, 36 years old. They both are familiar. They both fought each other, 2 years ago. I guess the one thing I was trying to look at is who's maybe gotten better over that time, who's done what with their careers. Looking at Marina, I mean, she's since beating Michelle, so already 1 win over. You kind of have to give her a little bit of an advantage there in a 5-round fight to add to that. But then going on, beating Mackenzie, she even beat Zhao Nan Yan. I mean, that fight aged very well. I mean, brother, that aged like a fine wine. That's like hitting the penny stocks here for, that's like hitting on Google before it went public. My goodness.
But Nato, the people are dying to know, who else did she beat?
Brother. Wait. Did I say Mackenzie Dern? Is there someone else?
Mackenzie Dern.
Oh, darn. How did I not say it?
Oh,
Gosh darn it. Gosh
You're
darn
talking
it.
about Yan Zhaonan, which is, quite nice. But I mean, gosh darn it. You gotta mention Mackenzie Dern.
Brother, a decision win over Mackenzie Dern. That's gosh darn good too, man. I mean, again, she's tough. I do feel that Marina Rodriguez at this stage in their careers, I mean, and might I add, talking about all these wins, they both have lost to Amanda Lemos. There are some similarities here, but you got to ask, I mean, who's getting better, or does anybody gonna show anything different? I don't think so. I think Marina's going to go in there, unfortunately, and be a little bit too quick for her. It might be very reminiscent of that match in 2021, where Michelle just gets a little bit outpowered, a little bit struck. No, can't find the word there, but ultimately just seeing Marina here. I think she's going to be a little too well-rounded for her. I think we're going to see a fun fight, but it's tough. And it's only 3 rounds. It's not 5. So
no, yeah, it's only 3 rounds, which makes a big difference. I think Marina will be able to go even harder in this fight because it's 3 rounds. And I think that Marina is the bigger, stronger girl in this fight. I think if we're talking about how I see the fight going, Marina Rodriguez, I think, is going to be the crashing waterfall that just takes over momentum of this fight and destroys Michelle Rodriguez.
That's a good one.
Or sorry, Michelle Rodriguez. Fast and the Furious, ladies and gentlemen. No, Michelle Waterson Gomez. No, but if Michelle Waterson Gomez is to have a path to victory, I think those keys to victory would come from really her bringing back what made her special to begin with that we haven't seen in some time, many years, in my opinion. The stepping karate sidekick. I think that was a weapon that was probably the most brilliant weapon in all of our arsenal. We just haven't seen it. It's almost like as soon as Tisha Torres came into the UFC and had it, she's like, well, somebody else stole my move. And she stopped using it herself, which is just sad to see because, again, that stepping sidekick that Michelle Waterson used to use was just a thing of beauty, guys. I'd love to see that come back into play. I'd love to see her footwork in general, the wide, long karate stance, almost McGregor-esque in her ways. Love to see that come back. Those are the only ways that I see her winning this fight because otherwise it's just going to be a tough night at the office. Marina Rodriguez is the bigger, stronger girl. And not only that, but she's the bigger, longer girl. She's got a 3-inch reach advantage, which when you know how to use it and you have solid boxing, it's going to pay dividends. So I think it's an uphill battle for Miss Karate Hottie, the mommy fighter herself. I just don't think it's going to be a fun night at the office for her. I do think it's going to be a fun night at the office for us fight fans. And I got to disagree with you when you said that Michelle Waterson's looking towards the end of the sunset, right? The wrong side of father time. She's 37 years of age, and she's closer to retirement. Marina Rodriguez, you said, was on a similar slope. I firmly disagree. Even though she's only 2 years younger in fight tread years, she's got a lot more tread left on the tires, my guy. 16-3 versus 18-11. So one of these women only has 2 more wins, but almost triple the amount of losses. It's a lot of tread on the tires. You take a lot more damage in those losses. And you'll hear me say it first. There's winning and there's learning, and you learn a lot more from those losses than you do from winning. But I mean, when your losses are starting to catch up to your wins, how much more can you learn? It might be time to hang up the gloves if you get a 4th loss in a row, if you're Michelle Waterson Gomez. On the opposite end, Marina Rodriguez, though she's lost 2 in a row, she lost to Amanda Lemos and Virna Jandiroba. The division that she's in is, I don't want to say that it's stagnant or that it's shallow, but it is very much like the heavyweight division in the fact that if you win 1 or 2 good fights or 1 or 2 of the right fights, you're right back in that shot. You're right back into title contention. And I don't think it's crazy to say that with a win over a Michelle Karate Hottie Waterson Gomez, she's right back in that topic.
That's a really good point, man. Yeah, I mean, she's got a win over a Mackenzie Dern as well, who's there at 7. Yan Xiaonan is 2. I mean, my goodness, like you said,
you got to think either one of those women would want that one back.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But if you're Marina and if you get a impressive win over a Michelle Waterson Gomez,
call for the title.
I mean, yeah, you call your shot, man. I mean, there's not a lot of names up there. If it's not the title, I mean, maybe you look at a Carla or, I mean, Jessica Andrade, I hate to say, is turning into that gatekeeper there or just the revolving door that everyone ends up going through. But that's probably another name as well. But yeah, not to get ahead of ourselves. Michelle's no one to look past. I probably should not get too, we probably shouldn't start doing predictions just yet here. But yeah, I mean, hey, a lot of great names in that division. I mean, man, that's a fun one. Might see a lot of change, a lot of new names come and go here. That's exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, very, very exciting fight. I'm super, super looking forward to that one. Bryce Mitchell coming in against Dan 50K Ige himself, guys. Only got 2 more fights to get through. But man, are they some fucking fights.
Absolutely.
Bryce Mitchell, Flat Earther himself. Talking about what was the name of his rap album? Barnfire or something like that?
Oh my gosh. Is that real? That's hilarious.
Yeah, no, he made a rap album. You haven't listened to it? Oh, I'm going to send it to you after this episode.
No, that is too much.
It's so
that
good.
Is too
he raps
much.
about being a UFC fighter. It's so good. Yeah.
Thug Nasty. Well, I guess that's
Thug Nasty.
That makes sense now. Okay.
Thug Nasty. He's hardcore, bro. He's gangster. So Bryce Mitchell, he's a thug. He's Thug Nasty.
And he's nasty.
Shorts. Coming in against Dan 50K Ige, boy. So how do you see that one going, man?
Oh man, I mean, I'll want to hear your breakdown. I'll keep it short and sweet here, but yeah, Bryce Mitchell considers himself the cash cow. Honestly, just a fun, like one of a kind human being. I honestly forgot he was 15-0 before going in there against Ilya Topuria, who unfortunately did, take a little wind out of his sail there. And he sent him back to the pasture. Said, "Hey, brother, hey Bucko, go ahead and get some more LBs." That's what it's
called, pasture fire.
There it is. Greener pastures, pasture fire. That probably is what it is.
Yeah, pasture fire. Yeah, I just looked it up. Pasture fire full album on YouTube.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, dude.
We're simpatico. See, we're in sync, baby. I finished in your sentences over here now. Come on. But no, again, I forget that. I mean, the reality is this guy is super talented, man. He's really developed himself as a ground game specialist. And I think, man, if you're Bryce, don't go in there. Don't play with your food, brother. Get straight to business. Get Danny 50K Ige out of there as soon as humanly possible. Do not make it a striking match. You just got in there with another dog like Ilya. And unfortunately, it can go very similarly. If you don't, again, take care of business. Don't play with your food. Get in there, grab a hook, grab a leg, do what you got to do. Get to the ground, brother, and choke him out, please, because I want to see Bryce do well. Because this boy Dan Ige is a dog. I mean, if Tien was here, he'd have plenty to say, but he's a perennial just stud in this division. He's extremely talented. Find out that extreme couture. He's going to be bringing his A game, and he's hungry. Just put together 2 wins off 3 losses before that, being Dan Ige. I'm going with my boy Bryce. I mean, I think Bryce will win, but boy, I don't feel good about it. I'm nervous. He can get his bell rung, and it could be a tough night for me. I can be going out to the pastures as well, but I think Bryce is going to get it done. I think he learned his lesson that last fight against Ilya, and I think he's going to dial it in and just take care of business. What are you thinking, brother?
Well, I definitely agree with most of the things you said, for sure. I think Bryce Mitchell's a dog. I think he's an absolute beast. I think it's easy to forget that he was 15-0 before that fight against Ilia Topuria. But I don't think he wins, man. I'm going to say something out loud that I would probably say out loud any day of my life and mean wholeheartedly. Give me 50K.
Let's go.
So, you know what I'm saying? Give me 50K here. I think 50K gets it done, folks. I think 50K Ige is the man, the myth, the legend. I mean, he lost to Chan Sung Jung. That was years ago. He lost to Josh Emmett. That's a different style of fighter. And he lost to Mozar Evloev, who, with all due respect, Bryce Mitchell was scared to fight. So, I mean, we're talking about Mozar Evloev, who's 17-0.
Yeah, he's a savage.
Has wins over Hakeem Dawodu, Diego Lopez, Nick Lentz, Mike Grundy, born on a Monday, probably. I don't know.
Or Sunday.
But, here's the thing. Guy's an absolute beast. I think 50K Ige is very smart. And I think Bryce Mitchell's greatest path to victory is via submission. Is that fair to say?
It's probably the one road. That's the yellow brick road.
and let me ask you, do you know how many times Danny Ige has been submitted in his amateur and pro career combined?
I'm seeing a goose egg next to that, next to his 5 submission victories.
Yeah, it's a big fat, big old zero. It's a big old zero. So I just think Thug Nasty is going to have a hell of a time actually finding a path to submission. Maybe he pulls out a really flashy one that Danny Ige has never had to defend. Like, dare I say, what would it be, like the 4th or the 5th ever twister in UFC history? I mean, that would be amazing to see, but I just don't think that's going to be the fucking situation. It'd be Bryce's second.
No,
I just don't think that's going to be something that we see. I think he's going to go in there with just a glass full of milk, ready to go. The all-American blue-collared guy. I think he's going to be just acting like he's walking into the pasture, ready to really just do a hard day's work. What he's going to walk into with Dan 50K Ige is, honestly, just like his rap album, it's going to be a fucking pasture fire, folks. I think he's going to burn that guy to the ground. I think it's going to start. Somebody clip this off. Jamie, can you clip this off? I think it's going to start with leg kicks. I think very early on, Dan 50K Ige is going to chop the trees. And I think it's going to make it very hard for Bryce Mitchell to have any success with his entries and with his single leg takedown attempts, which is his bread and butter, in my opinion, as far as takedowns. So chop those trees, make him weak at takedowns, and then what does he have to offer? Less than rudimentary striking.
Yeah.
He doesn't have even a meat and potato style of striking, in my opinion.
It's
Hold
subpar.
on. Turtle here. We got Andrew in the chat. What's up, gents? Bryce is my lock this week.
3027. Ooh.
Get your tickets for WrestleMania 3027. Wow.
Well, fair. Good shout out there. Turtle, I'm right there with you, brother. I don't know if it's gonna be that dominant. I guess if Bryce is gonna win, maybe that's it. He just puts 50K and some some mud, puts him in some quicksand. It could happen.
I don't know, dude. I think
Wow.
50K Ige just turns it into a pasture fire. I think
We cannot-
we won't agree on that. I think, have we agreed on a single fucking
I was going to
fight
say,
tonight?
we have not been more like polar opposite, brother. And when it came to these breakdowns, this is fun. I love it.
What's crazy is we haven't agreed on, I think, like a single fight, maybe one fight out of the whole time. And yet our points about the fighters, like you've completed like my notes and I've completed your notes.
Yeah.
So, like we feel the same about the fighters. We just don't feel the same about them fighting.
The outcome. I think that's why I love this sport, man. Especially this year. There's been so many, I don't even want to call them upsets. It's just any dog can have a day, man. Any dog can have a day. Like we broke it down. I mean, Izzy can have his worst night and Sean can have his best. And now we have this alternate universe we're in. I mean, these things happen, man. I've seen crazier things, but that's the beauty of it. I love it.
It's a beautiful sport. It's a beautiful thing, man. I mean, you honestly just love to see it. And I mean, with that being said, we got to jump right into the main event of the evening, guys. It's time. I'm going to just go ahead and throw it right out there. I don't know if you noticed on the bottom row here of the cards. This is one that I pulled. That's Mr. Main Event himself, guys. Hard to hold it up for the camera here, but
Rafael
Rafael
Fiziev.
Fiziev.
Rafael. Adaman.
I have to go with Fiziev because of, bias. I have the autograph card. I'd be ashamed not to. But you know me, even if I'm betting with my heart and soul here versus my brains and wits, I'm going to break it down with stats and facts. So here we go. Mateus Gamrot coming in against Rafael Fiziev. I think this is a fantastic fight. I mean, both of these guys are absolutely game for this fight and for any fight, really, to the point where Mateus' nickname is Gamer. The guy's always game and ready to go. That being said, we've seen him get knocked down by people that aren't even as good of a striker, in my opinion, as the man he's going to go in and face this Saturday in Rafael Fiziev. Now, the most recent time he got knocked down was in a fight against Jalen Turner. And that was, again, very, very recent, just back March 4th, UFC 285. That is a fight that Mateus Gamrot ended up winning. Now, jumping back in time just a little bit further, we can look at Beneil Dariush, who also got a knockdown on Mateus Gamrot and a win. And then jumping back even further, Arman Sarukian, who again is more of a wrestler in my opinion than a striker, also got a knockdown on Mateus Gamrot. No, I know MMA math doesn't math, okay? The math never maths, and that's okay. But it will on Saturday, folks, because if those gentlemen can knock him down, you bet your sweet ass that Rafael Fiziev can. Okay, the man is an absolute beast with his kickboxing. He's got solid Muay Thai skills, and I think that this is just going to be a night in the playground for him, going in against the gamer Gamrot himself. Mateus Gamrot has never been knocked out. He has never been submitted. He's been taken to decision and lost twice, but he's got 10 decision wins to his name, 5 submission wins, and 7 KOs or TKOs to his name. The guy's a gamer, right? He's an absolute beast. I'm not saying it should be a walk in the park, but it should be a good night at the office for Adaman himself. Man's got 8 KOs. I think he might actually add a 9th to his list, and it might be the first time that we get a TKO stoppage of one Mateus Gamrot. How do you see this one playing out now?
Wow, brother. Honestly, I was sitting on the fence, but I think I'm going to have to lean in with you on this one, brother. I do. And really, it boils down to the high level of striking capabilities that we've seen Rafael Fiziev showcase. I mean, the dude is so explosive, so talented, so smart when it comes to his footwork, like his ability to make his reads, be in and out of the pocket, like, and kind of, I mean, you use that athleticism to his advantage, but he's got the IQ to back it up. I mean, that fight with Gaethje, I mean, it took just about everything out of Justin to put him away. And I really just think just boils down to just Gaethje being the bigger, little bit of the badder dude. Obviously, baddest motherfucker, you know this, BMF. But man, Rafael's right in there, man. I mean, he is talented as all hell. sorry, brother. too soon. You're right. I'm going to lean the striking here. And I think you mentioned a good point with Jalen Turner. I do want to put an asterisk there that Jalen was preparing for Dan Hooker. Last minute notice, Gamrot took it. They both probably were not fully prepared for that fight, or at least fighting each other stylistically. Jalen Turner is a problem. But honestly, when I did look at Matthias Gamrot and his other performances as well, what I do see is a little bit below average striking. His movements, what he's doing on his feet, it just feels like it's all to get you to the ground. It's not to win those exchanges. It's not to be in control, and it is not honestly being aware of what threats are out there at all times. And that's where Rafael at any point can put your lights out. I mean, you may not see it coming. He's so fast. He's explosive. He's got every tool in his arsenal when it comes to the striking game, both with his hands and feet and elbows, head, shoulders, knees, toes. I just think Rafa's going to find a way to get it done. I agree. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a knockout. I mean, Matthias Gamrot, that record says a lot. Like, I do know if he can grab a leg, or if he can neutralize, or just, I don't know, shoot from across the octagon and get Rafa down and keep him there. I mean, as the fight goes on, like, that can be bad for Rafael. I don't know what kind of ground game he possesses, and that's what Gamrot does. I mean, it's like Khabib. He puts you in quicksand and you don't know what happened. I just don't know if he'll get there. I honestly do think Rafa has enough tools. He's gonna keep Gamrot like on his back foot, moving around, trying to like jump and get the takedown, but he can eat a knee. I think it'll be something spectacular, but Rafael will find a way to take care of business, I believe, as well.
Yeah, completely agree. I think Rafael found a way to get it done. I think it's actually going to be just a surprise cameo for Left Hook Larry, and then just it's all over, folks. I think it's all over. I think Left Hook Larry makes a prime appearance here, the same way that he did in that fight that we saw not very long ago against RDA, Rafael dos Anjos. So, I mean, he was able to drop him, and I think Rafael dos Anjos has a pretty damn solid chin, and he's a gamey, wily veteran, and we saw him get put out by him. So
yeah, dude. And a Brad Riddell in a spectacular fashion spinning wheel kick. Renato Carneiro, another impressive name. Again, putting these guys away, like, these are the staples in the division, you know? I mean, that says a lot. And again, that fight with Gaethje, I mean, at times, or at least in the beginning, I thought he was gonna win. But Justin, man, was able to dig deeper, and just, again, I think the size and strength just paid dividends. But Gamrot is not on that level. I mean, he lost to Beneil. Even though he is, again, very impressive on the ground, I just think Rafa's going to find a way to put some leather to the chin, or a knee to the chin. No. Yeah.
I mean, I completely agree with that. I think, it's hard to disagree with that. Like I said, we've seen him get knocked down by lesser strikers, and Rafael's he's really no joke. That left hook is disgusting. His kicks are really nasty, classic Muay Thai style, and he knows how to utilize it. He cuts angles really nice, keeps his head off the center line. He's going to be a hard moving target to hit, and he's going to make Matheus Gamrot look like a stiff target. I hate to sound like a broken record here, but another example of somebody that I think is going to come in and chop the trees, folks. Especially being a Muay Thai background fighter, I think he's going to come in here, really chop the trees early, or just start chopping the husk. You know what I mean? Just going after the body and just breaking ribs, cracking ribs. Because even if you block those with your arm the right way, they suck, man. We saw it happen over at one championship where somebody broke another young man's arm with one of those kicks being blocked. So not fun to block those kicks either, guys. Even if you're doing the right thing, it doesn't feel so good. So that's it for those fights. We are going to definitely try and get back to let's see here. Wow. Off all the fights, and this is the one you guys agree on. Yes, this is the one that we agree on.
We took different paths, but we ended up at the same destination. I love that. Great call out, Turtle. That's hilarious. I was just thinking that in my head, too. I'm
actually curious who Turtle's pick is in this one. Do you... Man, that has me worried. Do you have fucking
throw your picks in there, Turtle?
Are we all wrong here?
Spam the chat, y'all. What are you guys thinking? What are some picks? Where are we off? Who do y'all leaning?
So before we call it a night, again, we'd be remiss if we didn't go over these new fight announcements that just recently came out here, guys. So, I mean, we have some pretty crazy fights coming up. We got a
Let's
welterweight
go.
championship bout between Leon Edwards making his second title defense against the cardio king, Colby Covington.
Let's go.
Nano. What do you think about this one, man?
Brother, the chaos is back. Let's go. We'll start with the later UFC card. UFC 296 got another one added here. Finally get to see Leon defend his title against the one, the only villain of the UFC, Colby Chaos Covington. The lead up, everything about it, man. I'm excited. It's been long overdue. And, you know, again, say what you want, dude, but Colby is one of the best fighters on the roster. I mean, I just think his well-rounded skill set, I just gonna be more excited for it, man. I'm curious. Can't wait to break it down more, but I have a feeling it's going to be shades. I think like the first round or two might be a little bit slow, but I think once they get that flow state, once they get a little more comfortable, I think we might see something reminiscent of that Usman Colby Covington fight number one. Just striking, just laying it all out there. I think it's going to be freaking fun, dude. Every time Colby fights, it's nothing but chaos. I mean, that's what he does.
It really is. It really is. I completely agree. I think, just like you said, this is going to be reminiscent of that first fight with Kamaru versus Colby, where they're like, you know, we both know we can wrestle. Let's just fucking duke it out, man. And you love to see that as a fight fan. It was a very fun fight. Lots of really, really nice exchanges in that fight. And again, everybody going into that fight build up was like, oh, we were going to get a grappler's delight. You know, people that like grappling are going to be happy. People that boo when people grapple are going to probably boo for a lot of this fight. But that just wasn't the case. Instead, we got a really, really nice little striker versus striker matchup. And it was, a bunch of 1-2s for 25 minutes. I wasn't mad at it. So I think that this one is going to be very similar. I think the first round, we might see a shot or two. Leon will probably defend well. And then after that, it's going to be Colby saying, okay, you think you're good at defending takedowns? Let's see how you defend a jab over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And with that being said, yeah, I don't want to jump too much into it. Just want to kind of briefly go over these because we will break them down when the time comes.
Oh, yeah.
But before we jump forward into the next two announcements, we got another chat here from Turtle. I definitely favor Fiziev. His hand speed is something Gamrot has never seen. But Gamrot will spam takedowns, and I think he can get control time. I sure hope Fiziev wins. I completely agree with you, Turtle. I think in this one, Fiziev's hand speed is definitely going to be the equalizer. I think it's going to be the biggest differentiator in the entirety of the fight. And I think that it will negate the takedowns and the takedown onslaught that Gamrot is going to bring. I do think Gamrot will try and spam takedowns early on, but I think catching a quick, speedy uppercut or even a left hook while he's coming in, like targeting down towards the body with a left hook, the way that Fiziev does, he'll catch him right on the top of that temple or right on the outside of the like earlobe. And it's not going to feel good. Like even if Fiziev lands on a single leg, I don't know that he'll have the wherewithal to finish because his marbles are going to get all jumbled up, man. So I don't know a better way to put it, but like that's what it feels like in there when you eat a really fucking solid shot. It's just
dude. Your whole equilibrium gets thrown off, I'm sure.
Hey.
Just like that.
You know,
love that. That's a good one.
It's not a fun feeling.
No,
But,
not at all. And I would agree with that. Sorry, go ahead, brother.
It's a known feeling. You know what I mean? Like it's something that you'll feel it a ton of time in your career, but it's also something that I don't know that you can plan for.
No. I mean, it takes the wind right out of your sail. I mean, you know, your adrenaline's going, all that, but that's that moment when I'm sure they talk about. It's like, oh, I went to take a step, I didn't feel my legs anymore. Like, oh, what's weird? Foot's not working anymore. What's going on? I agree with you, Turtle. And I don't know if you heard our breakdown in the beginning when it came to like the scoring, but I think to give us a little bit of to add to the hope and maybe give you a little bit more reassurance here, we look at the damage done, right? I mean, I think control time or the takedowns may be one thing, and I do think over a 5-round fight, if as much as Gamrot may spam some of the takedowns of maybe early on, maybe win a round or two, is he going to be able to do that for 25 minutes? And what kind of defense are we going to see? I mean, if you know, he gets, I don't know, bum rushed onto the fence, is Rafa able to get out of it? Or if he gets taken out, is he able to explode because he's so athletic to get right back up right away? So yeah, you mentioned the control time. I think that's big, but I also think throughout all of this, how much damage is Gamrot going to take? How much damage is Rafael going to inflict throughout these exchanges? I think that's where he's going to end up winning, but if it goes a decision, or at least in those exchanges.
And just something else to just kind of sprinkle in there. How how much damage can he take?
That's the thing. It may not take much. I mean, like
Because
you said, it could be a glancing.
We've seen him get dropped by small shots, and Fiziev, the difference is like he's a shark, man. He's a fucking shark. As soon as he drops you, he's going to be on top of you, and he's going to be landing big shots. We saw it happen with RDA. Quick stoppage there. I think we see very similar happen in this fight.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's like a Paul Craig, Johnny Walker moment where he just tries to hang on. Paul Craig, he just tries to grab onto a leg, and next thing you know, he's just playing bongos with his head. It might be something along those lines. Honestly, wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised by that at all. So jumping through these next two announcements so we can let you guys go for the night. We know it's a work night.
It's been a fun one.
We have Yuri Prokaska coming in against Alex Pereira.
Let's go.
My God, that is a fun fight, guys. I mean, we got Mr. Bow and Arrow himself coming in against Mr. Stonehenge. It's going to be a hell of a fight, guys. Hands of Iron versus... Hands of Stone versus the Samurai. There we go. Hands of Stone versus the Samurai. I was going to say Hands of Stone versus Face of Stone, but the guy with Hands of Stone has the Face of Stone too. So, it's just, it happens to the best of us.
The Stonehead has the stone hands, fair.
So, I think that was going to be a really fun fight. Early call out. I'm going with Hands of Stone. I think he gets it done over the Samurai. I think the Samurai's coming back from a really bad injury over his shoulder. He's probably not going to have the same striking mobility or speed. And even before this injury, goddamn, man, he's got to be like, if I was an MMA coach, he would be my worst nightmare of a student. Because he's talented as all get out, and he's so strong, but his head just stays so far forward. And when he's dodging strikes, it's like Ian Gary. Like his chin is so far up in the freaking air. Like every time it happens in exchanges, I'm like, what are you doing?
Ooh, yeah, where you going?
Tuck your chin. Put your hands up, please, for the love of God.
Don't do that.
It's just, it's terrifying to watch that guy fight as a fight fan.
Yeah, it's very unorthodox. It's very interesting. But boy, this is a freaking powerhouse co-main event. It should be its own main event, in my opinion. But this matchup, light heavyweight, I don't know if it's because John Jones, Madison Square Garden, they just want to beef it up. But the fact that John Jones is on it, I think is kind of interesting. The ex light heavyweight champ, or one of the best light heavyweights of all time, you could argue, going to make his history as the best heavyweight of all time now against Stipe. That's a big narrative, but I think it's interesting that they put that light heavyweight belt on the same card. I'm sure they're going to ask him about it. Who do you think's going to win? Would you fight him? This and that. I think the UFC knows what they're doing.
I think if Yuri wins, it'll be even funner, just because. It'll be like, maybe. I think John Jones is going to win the fight. I am Samurai Warrior. I will go up and fight him for the heavyweight belt. I will fight him in March in Russia. I feel like I don't know why. I feel like he's gonna throw some random shit out because that's what Yuri does.
Yeah, he does. He does.
And I'm still not convinced that he even comes up with it himself. I think he's got an earpiece in, and I think the hair is a 5G antenna, and they're just feeding him answers.
Like a Ratatouille type scenario here?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
That's hilarious.
I mean, that hair gets better reception than my Samsung Galaxy.
It's phenomenal. That thing grows. And yes, Mary, I'm hating partially because I could probably never do it. I'm getting on my 6 head over here. I might be bald sooner than I'm going to have more hair, but Ola can do it. Ola's got the samurai hair. Oh, samurai.
I now have 5G.
That's hilarious. I will say, man, this fight has a lot of juice, though. I mean, Yuri versus Glover was one of my favorite fights in recent memory. I believe it was fight of the year last year.
It was a fun one.
Yeah, dude. And I mean, Glover is going to be obviously helping Alex. Alex is going to want to defend his brother. It's kind of like an Apollo Creed, kind of Von Drago, little Rocky moment here. You knocked him down. Why don't you try knocking me down now? You know what I'm saying? that's Rocky 5. That's different. Different Rockies, but same narrative, baby. Same story.
Same.
Different, but still same.
Hey, but yeah, life's not about how hard you can hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep on going.
Rock, you caught me off guard there, brother. Oh my gosh. Jeez, that was good. Oh my gosh. You knocked the wind out of me, Rock. Take it easy, man. That
Sue me
literally
for
got me
what?
off guard. Sue. Touch me, I sue.
Dude, I fucking love Rocky movies. Those are
Marie's
the best,
outside.
dude.
Oh, those are the best, man. Those are the best. But it is funny. You mentioned the injury too. Like that was my only question here at the bottom of my notes is he healthy? Is that injury going to impact him at all? And I mean, just that awkward style. I mean, I think Alex will have an answer for it. I mean, that dude finds a way to put people's lights out.
I have spoiler alert. I think it's going to be a left hook.
Yeah, I think we know what's coming. I think he already knows. The whole world knows. But that's going to be a fun banger co-main event. UFC 295, Madison Square Garden. Be there. Is this one on November 11th too? Is that the day before my birthday?
Like, real quick question for the listeners and for the chat, guys. Like, have you ever had a situation happen where, like, you get hurt or you're falling down and you feel like the entire situation plays out in slow motion? That's what it feels like watching Alex Pereira fight every single fight.
Yeah.
Because, like, I feel like he doesn't even strike fast. He's just. But as soon as he throws something, you're like, someone's gonna get hurt. And like, I feel like I'm watching it in slow motion. I'm like, there's the left hook. There's the left hook. Gonna go grab a beer. You sit back down, and it's all over.
He's like the dude in that Mortal Kombat movie. I forget his name. Is it Kane or
Kano?
Kano, or the one that like he gets hit.
eye?
Not Kano, but it's the main guy that the movie was based on, where like he gets hit every time, and then he like powers up from it. Like the more he gets hit, like the more powerful he gets.
Oh, the one from the live action movie.
The live action movie. Yeah.
They made up a character for that movie. Yeah. His power was literally like he's like the Black Panther costume. Like he absorbs fucking kinetic energy essentially.
I should have went there. That was
like the
probably
Key and Peele skit.
Yeah.
I'm getting stronger.
Key and Peele, yes. That is a better comparison.
You're not getting stronger from me hitting you. I am getting stronger. But honestly, like that's kind of what it's like.
That's him.
He does kind of just kinetically get stronger as he gets hit. And then like, especially if you're leaning in for your shots, it's like, I'll eat that shot. And you'll wake up as a loser.
And a sore face.
That's essentially how Pereira fights. And I'm not mad at it. So last fight we're going to just very quickly talk about, and then we'll call it a night, guys. Super quick. So quick. So quick. Almost as quick as these fucking fighters. Because when I watch these flyweights fight, I feel like I'm watching an episode of Dragon Ball Z, folks. We got the first title defense since he wrestled the belt away from Brandon Moreno. We got a flyweight bout, folks. We've got Alessandra Pantoja coming in and defending the belt against a different Brandon, guys. A Raw Dog Royval. It's going to be a fun one, guys. I think this, I mean, like, as soon as I heard this one, my heart started beating. I was breathing heavy. I was excited. I knew it was going to be a Super Saiyan fight here of guys moving way faster than I can even comprehend moving with my fat ass. Guys, like, real talk, this is going to be a barn burner of a fight. And we might just see a crazy little love triangle of switching of the guard. Early call out. I think Pantoja loses this fight. I think Raw Dog does what the nickname implies. Gets a little Raw Dog action.
I was going to say, nice. Beat me to it. I love that, man. Yeah, honestly, Alexandria Pantoja, I mean, great victory over my favorite Brandon Moreno. No, I'm just kidding. But I will say, Brandon Royval is literally one of my dad's favorite fighters. It was like maybe 3 years ago.
Did you say your dad's favorite fighter?
Yes, dude. We saw Brandon Royval fight. Let me see who it was against. It was let me see. As I'm stalling here for time. Okay, I know I was going to say.
Ladies and gentlemen, Nano has just broken.
I was looking at all the fights. Maybe it was a Kai Kara France fight, but there was a fight early in his career where he just looked like so fun, so flashy, getting the submission win. I mean, I think he's one of the most exciting fighters in the division. And like I said, I mean, he's one of my dad's favorites for whatever reason. Dude, he's fun to watch. I mean, so flashy,
he's your dad's
so
favorite
quick.
fighter, and he's one of the most exciting fighters in the division. What the? I mean, I know who you're going for,
brother. He's a dog. We're gonna be talking about it. He's a dog. And he's looking for revenge. does have a loss to Alexandre. So, I mean, this is a big one, man. I think, this would be a huge shakeup in the division. But another fun co-main event, man. 296, stacked. I can't wait. And the end of the year is going to be banger after banger.
I can't fucking wait. I cannot wait, man. We got to get a little December visit on the books. Either I come your way or you come my way. We'll do a live episode, folks. It's going to be cash money.
Maybe that November 11th. I mean, it's my birthday. Maybe I'll try to plan a little something. Do a little cabin or something, or like, get all the boys.
Remember the 11th of November. The fights, I heard they went off. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's the move. We'll talk about it.
That's the move. We got to talk about it. All right, folks. Well, as always,
this was a fun one.
This was a fantastic fucking episode. If you haven't already, whether you're new here, whether you're returning, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, smash that bell for notifications, and we will see you here around the same time and same place. We always tend to go live on Thursdays. We try to keep it around 8 o'clock. Sometimes Muay Thai and my appetite makes that time shift back a little bit. Today it was that mixed with a little bit of Thursday night football. I know people were trying to finish watching that game. A hell of a game. Great job, Niners. You know what I'm saying? Had some solid players there on the fantasy football. You love to see that shit on the fantasy app, guys.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? We love it. We love it around here.
Let's go.
So, yeah.
Let's go.
Sorry. I got out of the bag a little bit. Tiger out of his cage, man. Tiger out of his cage just for a second, guys. Just for a second. So, that being said, again, we appreciate all you guys. And we will see you here, same time, same place next week. We will probably have another episode. We'll likely get back to the 2 episodes a week next week. Try and go back live on Monday. We'll see if work and life permit. Otherwise, make sure you follow on @MMAnomaly on Twitter for the updates. And we typically post earlier in the day and right before we go live. And until then, keep the passion for mixed martial arts alive, folks. We will see you next time.
You've been listening to the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. As you may have been able to tell, we dig the MMA, and our passion is to dive deep into the upcoming fights, give you our expert breakdowns, and help you make sense of all the chaos that is the fight game. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon, but in the meantime, make sure to find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at MMAnomaly. Be cool, and we'll see you next time.